Someone broke your heart? Wait, you don't need to take revenge. Universe will do it for you automatically. A real example is here. In the year 2012, Chloe and Julian, they had been together for 5 years. Chloe worked 2 jobs, one at a bakery early in the morning and another as a cleaning lady at night. She did this to pay for Julian's university tuition. Julian was studying to be a lawyer. He promised her a beautiful future, a big wedding, and a house near the French Riviera. Chloe believed every single word. She wore old shoes and skipped meals just so Julian could buy expensive books and suits for his interviews. The day Julian graduated, Chloe cooked a special dinner. She waited for him in their tiny apartment, her heart full of pride. When Julian walked in, he was wearing a brand new Italian suit, but he wasn't smiling at her. He didn't look at the food. He took off his ring, placed it on the table, and said, "Chloe, we are over. I am a lawyer now. I am moving into a high society circle. You are just a bakery girl. We don't match anymore. Please pack your bags and leave by tomorrow." Chloe felt like the ground had vanished under her feet. She did not cry, she did not scream. She looked at his cold eyes and realized that the man she loved never existed. She packed her small suitcase and walked out into the rainy French night. Chloe moved to a tiny room in a cheaper part of the city. She kept working hard, but now she was saving money for herself. She took a risk and used her savings to open a tiny pastry shop near a busy business district. She worked 16 hours a day. Her pastries were delicious, and her customer service was warm and genuine. Within 3 years, her small shop grew into a famous cafe. Within 5 years, Chloe owned a chain of premium bakeries across France. She became a well-known businesswoman, respected for her intelligence and kindness. She looked elegant, confident, and successful. Meanwhile, Julian joined a prestigious law firm. He married Clara, the daughter of a very wealthy businessman. Julian thought he had won at life. He forgot all about the girl who paid for his education. He used his father-in-law's money and connections to build a lavish lifestyle. He bought a luxury penthouse, drove sports cars, and treated people around him with arrogance. But built on a foundation of cruelty, his success was fragile. Julian's father-in-law was involved in a massive financial scam. When the government investigated, the wealthy businessman fled the country, leaving behind a mountain of debt. Because Julian had signed many financial documents to help his father-in-law, the banks came after him. Within months, Julian lost everything. His penthouse was seized by the court, his cars were taken away, and his bank accounts were frozen. To make things worse, when the money disappeared, his wife Clara filed for divorce and left him for a richer man. Julian was left completely broke, drowning in debt, and his reputation as a liar was completely destroyed. No good law firm would hire him. 10 years after leaving Chloe in the rain, Julian was desperate. He was living in a miserable, cheap room, wearing faded clothes and looking for any job just to buy bread. One afternoon, Julian went for an interview for a low-level legal advisor position at a massive food corporation. He needed this job to survive. He sat in the waiting room, sweating and nervous, holding his cheap plastic folder. The secretary called his name. Julian walked into the grand corner office. The office had glass walls overlooking the beautiful city of Paris. A woman was sitting in a high-back leather chair, looking at some papers. "Good afternoon," Julian said, his voice trembling. The woman raised her head. Julian froze. His breath stopped. It was Chloe Dodd. She looked absolutely stunning, radiating power and grace. She was the CEO and owner of the entire corporation. Julian looked down at his torn shoes and his cheap suit. The memory of the night he threw her out flashed in his mind. He remembered telling her, "You are just a bakery girl. We don't match anymore." Chloe looked at him calmly. There was no anger in her eyes, no hatred. There was only a cold, quiet indifference which hurt Julian even more than anger. "Hello, Julian," Chloe said smoothly. "I reviewed your application. Julian fell to his knees. Tears streamed down his face. "Chloe, please, I am so sorry. I was foolish. I was blind. I am starving. Please give me this job. I have nothing left." Chloe looked at him for a long moment. Then she closed his file. "Julian," Chloe said softly, "I will not give you this job. Not because I hate you, but because the employees of this company must be people of high integrity and loyalty. You possess neither." She stood up and walked toward the big glass window. "When you left me, you thought you took my future, but you actually gave me my freedom. You see, karma doesn't always strike with violence. Sometimes it just forces you to watch the person you destroyed succeed while you fall into the hole you dug for them." Chloe pressed a button on her desk. "Security will show you out. Julian walked out of the building into the cold Paris rain, completely broken. He had to beg for pennies on the same streets where Chloe's face was displayed on giant billboards of success. Karma had come full circle. This story reminds us that when you break someone's trust for temporary greed, karma will eventually force you to witness their rise from the very depths of your own failure.